Hey guys, Max here with a quick update on the game, where we are, and the upcoming early access release. If you kept up with our devlogs, you'll already know that the last year has been a bit of a bumpy ride for us. After the technical problems we've had with Unity, the publisher we were working with offered to fund an engine port to Godot, only to run out of money 3 months into development. As a result, I ended up developing more or less solo with no budget for a good 6 months or so, before the publisher managed to scrape together some money for another round of funding. Long story short, that did not last long either, and by October they were already broke again, so we cut our ties with them. We did manage to put together some funding of our own to keep things going, but the new budget was less than half of what the publisher originally promised us. As you can imagine, having half our budget evaporate mid-development forced us to make some adjustments to the release timeline. We were looking at 2 options for how to handle the budget cut. The first option was to cut all of the exploration features from the early access release and focus on fleshing out base management and combat to make those 2 parts as polished and fleshed out as they possibly can be. The other option was to keep exploration in order to have a full core loop in the early access release at the cost of less content overall. The concept of the game revolves around exploration. You build up your base, then you go out into the wider world, clear post-apocalyptic ruins from hostiles, find loot and bring it back to your base. That's how you unlock new structures, research the progress of the tech tree, etc. In the end, we felt that cutting out this part of the game would have meant leaving out one of the main points that sets this game apart from other colony sims, and talking to the community, many people felt the same way. So that's why we decided to go with a full core loop at the expense of content. In practice, that means the early access release is going to have the full core loop, but it's going to be a bit sparse on the content side for now. You start the game by picking a starting biome from a few different selections. Depending on your biome, you're going to have different plants, a few different animals. That's going to determine what starting resources you have access to. The base management itself is pretty straightforward if you're familiar with colony sims. You assign your work priorities, there's a couple different needs to keep an eye on, and if you neglect them, your colonists can suffer mental breaks. Your early game is getting some basic buildings up, planting some crops, hunting some animals. There's also an initial tech tree where you can research new buildings and crafting recipes. Every once in a while, you'll get a visiting group of scavengers who will stop by, hang around your base for a while. If you have someone assigned to the social work type, we can chat them up to either try to recruit them or learn about nearby points of interest. If you get a POI, you can launch an expedition to explore it. Right now, it's just using a simple placeholder UI. It's basically just a list of available locations. Eventually, we'll want to replace this with a proper world map, of course, but that's still a good ways off into the future. Once the expedition arrives, we generate a map with some roads and buildings placed around, along with some random NPCs that are occupying the different buildings. You make your way to the target, you fight whatever opposition is occupying it, then you loot it and return back home. Unlike other colony sims, you don't actually get all the resources you need to progress right away on your home map, so you're not going to be digging electronic components out of the dirt with a pickaxe. These expeditions are your main way to access a lot of these more advanced items that you can't produce normally, at least not until you research them. The combat itself is pretty basic for now. You get your melee weapons, you got guns and ammo, you got armor, there's a medical system with hit locations, things of that kind. It's not super complex for now, but we'll expand on it over time as well, and for now it's a decent base. As far as our roadmap goes, we are more or less feature complete at this point. There's still a couple minor things we need to wrap up, but right now our focus is almost entirely on fixing bugs, finalizing art assets, and adding some polish to the existing features. Unfortunately, we did encounter some problems around the map gen and animation systems that took us longer than expected to resolve, and because of that, we've decided to move the release date from Monday the 21st to Friday the 25th. That gives us a couple more days to get those bugs fixed and sort out some last-minute logistical issues as well. Once the early access release is out, we'll be looking to put out new major content updates every couple of months or so, assuming of course all goes well with the launch. The initial focus will be on fleshing out some of the existing features around combat and exploration, things like grenades, pack animals to help you bring loot back from expedition, more enemy diversity. Once those are in a good place, we'll be looking towards the base management itself with things like weapon mechanics, random events, raids, etc. And then after those are done, we'll be looking into overworld mechanics, so that means a proper world map, vehicles to travel long distances, more in-depth faction interactions, and so on. Despite all the setbacks we've had over the last year, we're still pretty excited to see this game finally coming together, and we hope that you are as well. That'll be it for today. Until next time, see ya!